Welcome to RSA Conference 2023. We're recording live from, well, it is Moscone West, but it's also Broadcast Alley. I am your host, Mike Shima, not stumbling over quite all my words, but I also have here Thomas Kinsella, who's the founder and chief customer officer at Tynes. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you for having me.
So, no code, this is our topic. Is it no code all humans? I think we need to define some terms here first.
Yeah, so like no code automation is a way for people, analysts, engineers to automate repetitive manual tasks, but it is humans doing the automation. So it's the people that are familiar with the process that maybe don't know how to code, so maybe don't know how to write Python, or maybe don't know how to like run a PowerShell script or something like that, that we allow them to build processes really, really easily in a nice simple drag and drop builder, nice canvas. But we also have the power of code as well. So we've got a lot of power user features that enable them to, I suppose, be as effective as like a senior engineer, but without having to, I suppose, go through the worry of coding and writing mumbo jumbo. So.
Mumbo jumbo is the technical term. That's correct. Yes.
Certainly in my my security career, a lot of the security engineers who like wrote code, they were very good at what they did, but their code was not as good quality as they thought it was. So.
That's always the unfortunate surprise. But I think to your point, there's an appeal here, especially for SOC analysts, to be able to rely. They don't have to become coders, so they don't have to now, on top of their grueling day-to-day work, burn themselves more by learning code. This is what you're trying to solve.
Exactly. So yeah, the reason we started the company was because we were working in security operations for a long time, and it was really hard. We just had like way too many alerts. It was hard to hire good staff. There was that sense of inevitability that some incident was going to happen, and we knew we needed to move fast. And like automation isn't a new thing in security. Automation has been talked about for a long time. But when we looked at a lot of automation platforms and we found what other people were doing, we just thought it wasn't working and it was way too hard. So we found that like the people that were really good at like coding, they didn't want to be doing something like building an integration or writing some Python code to create an issue in Jira or contact a user on Slack. That wasn't there. They wanted to be building a threat intel platform or reverse engineering some malware. However, the people that were feeling the pain, the SOC analysts, they wanted somebody to build an integration in with Jira. They wanted somebody to upload a file to VirusTotal, and they wanted the power that those guys have, but they didn't want to rely on them. So when we looked at those like other platforms, we didn't like them, and we said, hey, maybe there's a way to empower the people that are feeling the pain to automate that pain and make themselves a little bit more effective and make their companies a lot safer through enabling them to focus on more impactful efforts.
Indeed, and as you point out, just Jira, we need Jira tickets for tracking. Slack is just a great communication, but if you're taking away the drudgery of just having to repeat all of these little tedious manual steps every single time, that seems like such a nice change.
Exactly, and like it's funny, you'll notice our colors, we're trying to be a little bit more of a fun security vendor and a friendly security vendor, because the people that use the product, they genuinely love it. We've got the highest net promoter score for any vendor at RSA on G2 because the people that are using the platform are so happy with it. Because they're getting rid of their pain, but they're able to not worry about having to create a ticket, and also they're enabling their colleagues. They're showing off for their colleagues, like, hey, look, check out this amazing thing that I built. And it's really powerful. It's a fun process. So.
And what a great feedback too, to be able to say like people are that kind of score comes from you're actually delivering value. You're actually solving something I had rather than just no code, ChatGPT, AI. Here's the buzzword that does something.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got like a lot of really happy customers from small startups all the way up to Fortune 10s and some incredibly sophisticated security companies and security teams. But we like the feedback that we get, and the people that are using it, they genuinely love it. It's really it's a privilege to be in the position where people actually like using your product and
indeed.
Get a lot of value out of it. So.
Now I do want to come back to some more of the SOC side, but I come from kind of a more application or product security background, and I hear no code and I start to get worried. Does this mean no SDLC, no security? Is my attack surface expanding because of this?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's definitely the perception of no code, and kind of a little bit of the hesitation that a lot of people have towards it. They hear it, they're like, oh, maybe I can't do the things that I might want to do. Fortunately, you have to be able to do all those things, right? You have to have an SDLC. You have to be able to, to have smart error handling. You have to be able to have retries. But we just build that in a an intuitive way into the platform. So if you're worried about getting rate limited on, whatever virus total or something like that, you can just have it an easy retry. If you're worried that, your like whatever tool is going to go down, like I'll just put in an email address or put in a webhook and we'll send you an alert to go somewhere else. And if you want to, and you should have like, a decent life cycle of developing these workflows, you can use a test version on a live version and push your version from test to live. You can have an audit trail for all of these things. The whole thing is that in order to do that though, you don't need to know about like Git. Now, we can integrate with Git obviously, but you don't need to know about complex areas. You're just able to, I suppose, abstract away those so that the person that wants to have that power can use them, but anybody that doesn't need it, they can just build and they can, but the more sophisticated customers, they will absolutely be using all of those features, and they should be. So.
And they should be. And I mean, I'll admit up front that even doing simple tasks, I've messed up more than one Git branch just with the wrong commits.
You and every other developer on the planet. So.
Yeah, and I think too, it's not so much that we need the code, we need the Git experts. We just more of these processes, an access log or an audit log, right? Access controls.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like, and again, we have that functionality. So you have audit logs to see who did what, when, and you can like roll back to a particular version. But you also have like the ability to, have like view only roles, have admin roles, have developer roles. But I suppose the cool part about using a platform like Tines is that you can build a workflow or build a process, and you can share it with other people as well. So you can develop something and it automates a process. But if you take the correct approach, you're kind of building modules, and you can build something and share it with somebody else so they don't have to build it. So you might have a process to analyze an IP address in like 5 or 6 different security tools, or maybe you have a process to look up the asset owner and get their location, get their details, etc. And you're probably checking 3 or 4 different tools to do that. You can now like make that a service for anybody else, so that in their Tines workflows or even outside their Tines workflows, they can call that and consume it. So it's a real, it's a real power that we're enabling people with.
And it's very much a coding pattern. Don't repeat yourself, right? We've just turned it into Nocode.
100%, yeah. So it is a coding pattern. Like really, we're like, it's not that we're teaching people to code just in a more effective way, and even a safer way as well. So
yeah, indeed. And let's talk a little bit more about that value. Why the SOC analysts were so happy. You did a study of this to inform this, right?
Yeah, we did. So we did a great study of about 500 security analysts, and it's like the voice of the SOC. You can look it up, but it's I worked in the SOC, and the reason we did it was that we wanted to know, like, hey, life was really hard when I was working in a SOC. We're like, is it still as hard? And there were some really interesting findings. The thing that I think a lot of people think is like, SOC analysts hate their jobs. It's like it's way too tough. And what we found was that actually they felt engaged. They felt that they were doing a good job, and they felt respected both by their peers and also by other teams in the company. And they knew the work that they were doing was important. And that's great. Security teams feel respected. But at the same time, it was, they overwhelmingly felt burnt out. They overwhelmingly felt that they were doing more alerts. And about 75% said they were completely understaffed. So some of the questions that kind of came out of that was the vast majority, about 2/3 said they planned on leaving their job within the next 12 months. That's not to say that they will leave their job, but that they are burnt.
It's that stress.
It's that stress. So like it was really interesting for us, because obviously the whole point of the reason we started Tines, the whole point of the platform is that we're trying to get rid of those mundane manual tasks. What was funny as well when we asked them, hey, what are you what would you spend your time on? We thought it would be like like pen testing or reverse engineering malware or doing some really fun stuff. They were very mature about it. They were like, actually, like updating operational documentation was the number one.
Documentation.
And we were like, what? Like that's crazy. But they genuinely wants to build better processes and spend more time actually making the company safer. And that was it wasn't so much. Hey, we just want to spend more time on fun stuff. It was actually we want to make the company safer. But yeah, it was a really interesting study, and the other part about it obviously was that they we asked about automation, and I think Yeah, there was a little bit of hesitation from the SOC. They felt a little bit threatened by the idea that, like, hey, automation will take away some of their jobs. But yeah, I suppose the whole reason that we were asking was like, actually, there's very few organizations that if you start automating processes, they're gonna be like, okay, we don't need that headcount. It's like, actually, we can now, like, people are crying out for security analysts. People are crying out for good security teams to be able to do better work. So it's like, yeah, these people are going to be able to spend more time on better efforts for their company.
Yes, and nobody wants to spend the time on the boring, mundane, repetitive parts of that process. Let's give that to the computers and let them deal with it.
Exactly, that's exactly it.
Yeah. So, and it's wonderful that you clearly are bringing experience from the SOC into this, and actually going out and getting feedback from users. Are there particular features that surprised you, or are there particular features that you didn't anticipate that would be so useful to them?
Yeah, completely. So, like, one of the things that we've done, we've gathered, like, we've built our own library of workflows, right? So we've got, we built a couple of hundred that our customers were using, that we saw were kind of coming up time and time again. But then our customers started sharing their own workflows. So they said, like, hey, I built this one. Can I share this with other people? And seeing what they've built with those, like, they've built with the platform, and they want to share. It's like, that's really inspiring. But the sort of stuff that we've seen them start sharing are, like, a little bit more cutting edge processes, and kind of like the ones that they're a little bit geeking out about. So there have been some around, like, ChatGPT, which is exciting. But there's also, like, kind of really interesting ones where they're like, we think people should be, moving into the IT automation space. So, like, I've actually built this workflow to, offboard users in a bunch of different tools really easily, and I want to share it with people because I think that's where it's going. And then we're like, oh, this is interesting. We should maybe start talking to some IT teams, and that's been very effective. So yeah, some of the workflows that they're building have surprised us, but it's kind of excited us as well. It shows, the power of Tines and the power of where we no-code automation, where it can go, that it can make the lives of security teams, but also IT teams, DevOps teams, engineering teams easier as well. So
no, indeed, delivering value across those. As you look on, if you're going to look towards the doing the study next year, is there certain things that you would hope to see improve, or hope to feel that SOC analysts are enjoying better?
Yeah, so one of the things that we didn't really do a test last year was whether or not it was different in, like, really large organizations and really small organizations, or whether or not, like, cert teams, or, like, I suppose the different types of organizations, whether it was different. Definitely want to like, engage in that. I think the other thing is, like, looking at the maturity of a lot of tools out there. They are trying to get a little bit better at, like, that noise. I think a lot of companies have tried to, and there's some great companies here, that a lot of companies have tried to tune that. So I'm really hoping that there is and not the best benefit for us, but, like, I'm really hoping that that automation will have helped, but also that a lot of security companies will have, like, done a little bit of a better job of trying to get rid of the pain that security analysts are feeling. It's still hard, but I'm hoping that they'll have done a better job at that.
Indeed. Well, hopefully we'll be able to talk to you next year, and we'll see how that goes.
I really hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Thomas. This was very much it's not so much no code, but no stress type of delivery.
Exactly.
That's a wonderful message to said. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure too. If you'd like to learn more about Tines, visit securityweekly.com/TinesRSAC. Thank you, and stick around for more of the live stream. We got a couple more for today.